stateless state of Palestine. The presidential election of Barack Obama has so electrified the world that expectations have swept past reality into the silly. Some of this is driven by the corporate media, which no longer covers the news, but engages in what might be called pre-news, as it tends to predict what will or may happen, the better to not be scooped by competitors. And as news makes its hard turn to opinion, it sometimes builds up Obama as a world leader in ways that are simply unreasonable. This was seen in the run-up to the Iranian presidential elections, where news coverage all but predicted the election of opposition candidate Hossein Mousavi and the fall of the irascible Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. The result predicted, talking heads opined about the global influence of Obama over the elections. And as for stolen elections, how many folks in the U.S. marched against the stolen elections here in the year 2000? Similarly, much news coverage centered on Obama's hard line on the Israelis, as in his Cairo address, when he called for a freeze in settlements. So slanted is U.S. policy towards Israel that a halt in construction in illegal settlements is seen as hardline. For their part, Israeli right-wingers, many supporters of newly elected President Benjamin Netanyahu, have postered Tel Aviv with images of Obama wearing an Arab headdress known as a kafia, emblazoned with the words Jew-hater and anti-Semite in English and Hebrew, in allusion to his Muslim family background. To freeze a situation that is fundamentally unjust is to preserve the status quo, a state of affairs that leaves the Palestinian people in an unjust and untenable situation. On top of that, Netanyahu recently announced an essential rejection of Obama's freeze and an alleged support of the establishment of a Palestinian state, but a demilitarized zone with foreign affairs to be overseen by Israel. This is a state only in the sense that the old South African Bantustans were independent. The Palestinians have had their best land seized and Swiss cheese by settlements. Their parliament has been virtually thrown into prison. Their water is rationed, and their homes have been bulldozed, all while Western leaders talk about a peace process that is ultimately a freeze on the oppressive status quo. Meanwhile, Israel, not only the most powerful military in the region, but an undeclared nuclear-armed state, accepts the idea of a Palestinian state, but only if demilitarized, and this is seen as progress. From death row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noel Hanrahan of Prison Radio.